Here is my update to my tank, the 3.4 gallon. Basically, now, this is however many months later, I got a betta in here. Little different changes than I expected. The dwarf baby tears was a learning process. As you can see, they're marginal. And what had happened is that I needed to pump 2 lights on here. I got 2 of those compact fluorescents. And what I basically needed to do to have those grow is either choose between the betta or the plants. And you know what? I really wanted that betta in here. Look at that. Look at him. He's pretty cool, huh? The accent to the greens and the red is just killer to me. So I figured there's some different things that with the balance of how to run this tank, which I learned. So basically, those baby tears on the bottom, I had to have a power head hooked up to some do-it-yourself carbon dioxide right here. I stopped feeding that thing because I've noticed that the fish started gasping down at the bottom when I would try to bubble it through the tank, even up at the top. I'd have an air stone or a power head here blowing it through, and the plants, it seemed like the plants had better results when I had really good circulation of the CO2 going around the tank. Sorry for the jolted camera, guys. But anyway, to compensate for the circulation and the CO2, that fish was just getting pushed around. He actually didn't mind it, but I could tell he was just working a little bit harder than usual, and this shellfish, this half-moon betta, I didn't want to have him stressed out all the time. I didn't think it was right, so he's loving life. So basically, to be honest, I only run one of those compact CFLs on the top, those Fluval 13 watts, because I put it on just for the video to show off the colors a little bit more. Whoa, look at that thing, just fell down. Anyway, at the top I have frogbit. I got some frogbit off of eBay from a cool dude, and then also I had bought some hornwort to control my algae. And from what I've learned, a lot of guys already know, but they suck up the nutrients, the excess from the 88 aqua soil on the bottom here. And that kind of inhibits the algae growth and gives the competition for more plants to absorb their own and not have algae overtake, if that makes any sense. Look it up. Anyways, the jungle is kind of different than what I expected. It's actually lower demands for lights. They are in lower demand for light. Both the, I guess, the hornwort and the frogbit and the Anubias petites down here and up here, which I attached to the driftwood with some super glue. So other than that, oh, another interesting thing with this betta, he was surfing the back when I had this black background, and he wanted to fight himself. I was like, what the heck? How do people have black backgrounds with betta tanks, little cool little display tanks? And what I learned is that there was a guy who he installed some black backing inside the tank as opposed to on the outside. So this is actually inset inside here, resting on the back. Jeez, my exposure. Let me go from another side. It's polystyrene, and I use Krylon. If I can remember the name of it now, Krylon for plastic only, and it was a matte finish, or was it satin? Satin is a little bit between glossy and matte, and I think the glossy actually worked. Excuse me, the satin worked out because he can't really see himself in the tank. So what happens is that when you have a black background behind any glass, the refraction rays are going to go through the glass and bounce back at your eye, including any animals. So he could see his reflection. Well, with the black background inside the tank, dude, it doesn't bounce back to his eyes, the photons, he can't see himself. It's all good, yo. I can put a mirror on here every once in a while to give him a little chance to show that he's dominating the tank, which I guess keeps him a little healthy, keeps his confidence up. But I'm happy with the results. I heard that there's a lot of what do you call it? Vitruvius? What the heck? Detritus. That's gonna happen in the back here. It's gonna collect. I've heard of people's horror stories. They pull out the back and then it's just loaded with the stuff. I'm expecting that to happen, but whatever. I'll just siphon it out, dude. It's all good. What else? I also attempted. I bought like 4 cherry red shrimp, thinking, oh yeah, they'd be awesome to be on the bottom here, and I'll have this hornwort in the bottom that they can hide. Well, as soon as I put those in there, I try to do all the tricks that I learned on these forums of attempts to have the betta out of the tank, quarantine for a little bit, and then reintroduce him and rearrange some plants so he doesn't attack these shrimp. Well, nope, no dice. When I picked up these little shrimp, this guy said, yeah, when he heard I had a betta in this tank, he knew they were doomed. They were gonna be, their legs were gonna get bitten off or whatever. So that was a experiment that I had. He had an expensive snack there. But they were really sweet for 6 hours. Man, I was loving it. So I would suggest a tank without a betta, and those little fair red shrimp would be really cool with these greens. But I guess the setup that I had, his personality is that he went after him. I heard other people say that their bettas kind of left some alone, so that's what I was shooting for. By no means do I want to put expensive, exotic little tank mates in there just to see if they're going to be eaten, unless I have a piranha. Haha. But yeah. So anyway, that's it. I'm pretty stoked. I also wanted to mention that this frogbit I heard only does well with low flow water. So I have my hanging on back filter tweaked to the lowest setting. And I also have a little inset here, if I can show you. I'll adjust the exposure, but I just took a piece of like a bottle or any kind of I think this is a battery pack, like a plastic case for batteries, you know, those plastic insert, like the case container. I cut it up with the scissors, and it's like a little curve, and I just stuck it behind the drop off, and it's like a little slide, and it buffers the water. I didn't like the huge bottle on there. I thought it looked pretty crazy. So it's barely noticeable even at an angle down here. Oh, there you can see it. When I'm farther away or whatever, it's barely noticeable. So anyways, the frogbit I guess does a lot better with more standing water or not a lot of current flow. So that's my setup here. I'm pretty pleased with the results. We'll see what happens. These roots need to be trimmed. They really took off, but these roots on the frogbit I guess need to be trimmed from time to time. And I actually think that I might have to take out some of the frogbit, because what I'm thinking could happen is that he might not be able to get to the surface to take a breath. These bettas have a labyrinth organ to breathe oxygen, so they need to come up for air. I don't think it's as thick where it's going to hinder him, but if there could be a chance where he might not. So anyways, if it's already pretty much maxed out, I might have to start pulling some pieces out. But I really am stoked on this. So let me focus. Anyways, maybe I'll insert some shots of that betta with separate shots, who knows, in this video. Okay. Cheers, guys.